Hello viewers, I'm SB, and welcome back to Endless Legend, where it turns out I may have made a smallish error. I know several of you already know this, because you all telling me is how I know, but I did not start this map in the recommended fashion. There were instructions in the patch notes for how to set up the Auriga map to get sort of like a true start location canonical version of the Auriga experience. And it did not occur to me to look for instructions, so I didn't do that. So we're just playing a non-standard version of the thing. But you know, that's fine. This is sort of our own unique flavor of the Auriga story. If I had followed the instructions and we were playing the more canonical version, obviously we would have started near some forests, and as such, our start would have come out of the gates a little bit faster. But you know, we're playing in challenge mode, is all that means. Serious difficulty, which is a little lower than we normally do, but also challenge mode to sort of bring it back up, and we will see. We shall see if we can be victorious, despite me screwing it up like this. So, where are we at? We have enough influence, we have enough people on influence, that we should be able to get the Empire plan we want. We just finished Shipyard Tech, so we can now start exploring the seas, looking for other land masses, and as such, potentially finding a forest to settle into. And we've pretty well blocked Red off. They're going to be in a really rough situation if they don't manage to get Shipyard Tech pretty soon. That said, I'm sure that they're aware of that. They're probably working on it. So, we have some competitive quests. Right, we gotta go find these, move here to this ruin. What are you? Oh, okay. This is a lice army that was spawned for this quest. I had assumed that this was just gonna be lice that are shed by the Urkins naturally, but it must have spawned some stuff on different landmasses so that everybody would have a chance to actually compete in the quest. Okay, I'm into it. How tough are these? Very poor attack. Well, pretty poor attack, very, very poor defense. Okay, I don't know if we could take this with just our ranger, but we could probably take it with the ranger. We can definitely take it with the ranger plus any one city garrison worth of units. So, for a couple of reasons, let's go ahead and get our ranger over there. I know we just put her in this garrison so that we could stop paying her upkeep cost, but let's get on it, shall we? Oh, actually, you know what? I should have done this before we moved. Let's talk about unit designs. So, you don't get a bunch of new units, really, as you continue forward through the eras. It's not like something like Civ, where, say, you would get a spearman, and then later on you would get a pikeman, which is just that same unit, but a little bit more powerful. In Endless Legend, the way we power up our basic unit categories is by equipping them with better gear, which becomes available as we continue to tech up. So right now we have this crappy Tier 1 crossbow, 9 attack, and 1 initiative. And we could swap that out for a Tier 2 crossbow now that we are in Era 2 and have access to the Tier 2 stuff. Or we could maybe give her a great big longbow instead, which has considerably better attack and damage stats, and a big bonus damage versus flying units. For the moment, though, we're going to leave that stuff alone. The thing I'm here to equip her with is an improved movement talisman. We have this talisman slot down here for sort of more general improvements. This will give us a little bit of initiative, but mostly 2 movement on the world map and 1 movement in battle. Now, this does increase the cost of the unit. You can see each piece of gear has an industry cost that it adds down there at the bottom of its tooltip. What is this one? It's expensive. Yeah, it's more expensive than almost everything else. And then whenever we go to build a ranger, we will now build that version of the ranger with the bonus movement. Any existing units can be upgraded to the new design when they're in our territory, but unfortunately we have to pay an amount of dust that is based on the difference between the industry cost of the design that the unit is right now and the design that we want to upgrade it to. And we just don't have any money at the moment. It's a thing we're working on. The situation's going to get worse before it gets better, because we're building all of these other buildings to do stuff, and all of these have dust costs, like upkeep costs associated with them. So for the moment, I guess it doesn't matter that I did this after we moved, because we can't buy the upgrade anyway. But we'll get there. These haunts are coming after us. Because they are a fast-moving flying unit, I'm a little... Okay, they have the slow traits. Their in-battle movement is going to be kind of poor. But I am definitely concerned about our ability to keep this archer alive if we end up fighting them. I'm going to queue up this move and get moving as quickly as possible here. Alright, is there anything else that we need to do? Oh, right, research. So our most pressing immediate needs are food for population growth to help with resources, and then, of course, dust, so that we can afford to, like, hire new heroes and buy back the hero that I foolishly lost in combat and whatnot. We've already researched all of the stuff that brings in dust directly in this era. It's just a matter of actually building the highways. So, what do we want while we're waiting? It probably does not make sense to research a new thing that we would have to build, because it'll just be throwing more stuff on the end of the queues. So this might be a good time to pick up. This reduces the cost of buying things out with dust. This allows us to use the resources and stockpiles sections of the marketplace to buy and sell like luxury resources and stuff. Could be a source of income for us. We do have a lot of titanium. That actually might be a really good idea. There are definitely a lot of other things we want. We certainly want the Tenay Walker. It's a very useful unit. It's a very useful thing for us to have, a heavy infantry unit to block for the archers. We definitely want the Alchemy Workshop. If you look down at the bottom of the screen here, our total Empire science output per turn is only 92, so a building that gave 15 flat science would, by itself, be amazing, but then this one also has a 20% science bonus for the entire city on it. It's just amazing. The Glory of Empire would mean we wouldn't have to keep devoting so many people to influence to keep our Empire plans going, but, like I said, for the moment, all of the building queues are very, very locked down, so let's get something that we don't have to build to take advantage of. And to make sure that we are moving as quickly as possible. Because otherwise those haunts are going to devour us. So we have this pearl deposit. How many pearls is this? 6, in fact. There's no way to path up onto this plateau, so there are 2 ways that we could get this. Number 1, if we had a flying unit, obviously they could just fly up and grab it. But number 2, if I remember correctly, you can always move between 2 adjacent districts of a city that you own. So if we built a district up here, I think units would be able to just walk between these 2 spaces. And presumably, you install like elevators or some other similar infrastructure when you do something like that. So everybody's working on very important stuff. We got our sewers in Amenvar, which brings our happiness all the way up to not penalty. It's good enough for me. It'll help a lot once we have these luxury extractors up too. Are we... Right, we have lots of things going on though. It probably matters quite a lot, because these are sources of income via the market and also approval via luxury boosting, so definitely a thing to take seriously. And slowly we cross the continent. I sure wish we had income. It would be really nice to be able to buy back our hero with the bonus movement. What is this? What is happening? Okay, just lots and lots of Delver units. Also, oh no, a Guardian rises. You feel a surge of ancient magic as a great colossus, one of the Guardians, is brought to life. The spirit of Auriga may be fading, but great strength remains. Though perhaps sufficiently advanced science might thwart this ancient power. What they mean is, shoot it with a big gun. The Guardians are special, like, kaiju-class units. So somebody has built one of these. These are not necessarily naturally occurring. And as soon as somebody builds one, everybody else gets the quest to earn the unit that's especially good at fighting Guardians. So somebody out there is on some impressive military technology right now. Enough rumors from enough sources might just be fact. Wanderers and hermits tell of an old ruin wherein lie sleeping deathless angels, or winged demons, created to destroy beings whose strength is derived from dust. Though they appear to be the quintessence of the endless technologies, they lack the drop of power needed to awaken and fly. The native flight capacity of native Auriga creatures may hold the key. So we need to take a flying unit of level 4 minimum to the highlighted ruins and feed them to the ruins, basically, in order to unlock the secret of the Guardian Slaying unit. I'm not too concerned about it. Maybe that's foolishness on my part, but like, you know, it's not going to get turned against me. Red can't declare war on us, and we don't know who built that thing, so whatever. Seems like a real sometime later kind of problem. Okay, let's see. We could build a central market here and try to push approval, and I do think that's worth doing. Right of way, also pretty valuable. Granary, also pretty valuable. Yeah, I think probably the food. Maybe. I'm a little torn on that. Like, getting more population in our cities will solve basically all of our problems, though. What if we just had more hands? More hands to wrest dust from the dirt itself. Alright, somebody just entered Era 3, which is information about how far behind we are on science. It turns out the answer is considerably. Here, let's build some basics here in Amenvar. We could definitely use the extra money. And Undand has finished that stuff. I mean, okay. We have the pearls necessary to build the temple. We could extend the temple out and try to get a little bit more dust that way. It's not as much as I would like. What does the temple actually do? Okay, the temple also just gives approval. But of course it gives approval to this city, and this is the city that doesn't really need the help. Also food, also influence, you know, that stuff does all matter. And all of those values scale with level. So we haven't talked very much about level. But you can see here at the top of the tooltip for the museum, districts upgrade to level 2 when they are surrounded by 4 other districts. So, if we just build a bunch of stuff, and the altar does help with this, build a bunch of stuff around this, we can construct a level up for this building, which will give us more dust and science, right? Actually, nope, it's just the approval that levels up when this thing gains level. Well, that's a shame. Still, building out more districts, I think, is a good idea. So's trade routes, so's food. Yeah. But you know what? Building out the altar will let us interact with the... we'll put it over here. Will let us interact with the winter systems a little bit better. We'll get a little bit more information about what is upcoming, and that is probably worthwhile. Also, I guess it's actually about to be winter pretty soon. We should have this unit run down this way. You know what, I was thinking, it's about to be winter pretty soon, so we should have this unit run down here so that we can explore the temple ruins if an eclipse happens. But actually, did we already have the pre-eclipse? Oh, hey. Our buddy Fakir is back. So probably there are going to be more lice over here. There's not really a lot we can do about that. Not a lot of ways for us to interact with that. Alright, we have plenty of income now, all of a sudden. How much would it be to buy back our hero? Okay, the cost has been coming down pretty sharply. I mean, he's almost just back for free. Will be very helpful. So maybe we ought to just have our unit here wait. Can we buy him back this turn? Next turn. Okay. Yeah, maybe we do that, because I would love to have him around for engaging with this stuff. In fact, for the helpless hero thing... Okay, no, it doesn't say we need to do this with an army that has a hero in it. But still be nice to have him around. Alright, so next turn we pass the threshold on the amount of influence that we need for that quest, or for that Empire plan, right? It was 240? Yeah, okay. So working on that. The Empire's back up to happy. This is where the extra dust came from. We managed to build enough sewers to pass the Empire happiness threshold. Well, let's have a look at the market. We did complete our marketplace tech here. So, we can now buy and sell strategic resources. Unfortunately, as you might imagine, the two that we have access to, the early ones, are pretty plentiful, and as such, the prices are already pretty low. But still, we can get some money out of this titanium, which is more than we were doing from it, or doing with it before. We can buy and sell luxury boosters, both of which can be very valuable. Spices are high demand right now. It seems like maybe a lot of people don't have access to spices. Same is true of gold. So that's good news. So we have plenty of sources of both of those. And we can also purchase stockpiles. These are just big bundles of resources that can be cashed in our cities for, 100 food, or 100 industry, or 100 science. For right now, these aren't really that interesting necessarily, price to output wise. Although honestly, buying 100 food early on is interesting. But later we're going to get technologies that will make us able to apply these more efficiently and get more resources out of them. So we'll keep an eye on that. And I guess, actually, let's go ahead and sell a bunch of titanium, and we could buy our hero back, or we could just buy out some other buildings. I feel like buying our hero back is probably the right move. Every turn they're injured is a turn they're not getting experience. And that is going to add up over time. Wait, how do you... I do not wish to buy, I wish to sell... Ah, over here, sorry, there's a different place for that. So I believe you can only sell up to 10 of a thing at a time. And every time we sell a bundle of this, the price is going to go down, right? Because we're flooding the market with supply. So it's not necessarily a good idea to do it too much right away, but... What does it cost to hire a new hero in? We're in the mid-500s. Is there one that's very compelling? So you can see each hero has a range of different capacities, and then they're also going to have different skill trees based on their class and the faction that they are from. We haven't talked very much about unit classes yet, but they're things like support, ranged, infantry, cavalry, and each class has a different left third of the tree. So let's just have a quick look through these. This one has Army Boost 1, which just gives an army that he's in control of a small boost to a bunch of different stats, and also Influence Boost 2, so if he's governing a city, it produces a lot of influence. This one has Defense Boost 2 and Science Boost 3. I do like Science Boost 3. That said, I'm not wild about the Vaulter faction tree necessarily for governing purposes. Duke Leofric Whitechapel, the Broken Lords here are very good at producing dust in your cities, but he doesn't have any governor capacities. He just has a very strong army commanding capacity. Edgar the Listener has 2 different army boosts, so probably not ideal. Feeds on bones. Necrophages are very good at generating food. But I don't think a very good governor for our current situation here. Influence Boost 3 on a cultist body is definitely compelling. The cultist faction tree has some pretty good stuff in it, like every citizen in your city is just more effective at making stuff. And then, big percentage boosts to multiple different resources. So, Ozek here could be a winner. That would be 536. Peck's Care gives a lot of science. Researcher Namkang is a dragon with a food boost 3. Draken, rather. Draken have some food and influence boosts. Obviously, pretty relevant to the situation we find ourselves in now. Might be a good pull. A little bit more expensive than the other one, though. Dabuo Ofosu is dust boost and dust efficiency, so lots and lots of money to be made. And then... Okay, you lot are less interesting. I think let's get Ozek. Or both of them. We're definitely not going to be able to afford both. But I think we can sell enough resources to be able to afford one, maybe. We are driving prices way down, and of course we want to have... Okay, we hit the price floor. So that's good news. Well, it's sort of good news, you know. Our resources are not going to get any less valuable, is what I mean. We should hold on to some titanium, because some of our buildings require titanium. What's our income? We're bringing in 3 per turn. You know what, we can afford to sell pretty low. And then we can sell a little bit of glass steel. We're only bringing in 1 per turn on that. And then we have 10 Moonleaf that we can't use because it's not enough for a booster. That doesn't quite get us to 536. We almost have enough gold to pop a gold booster. The emeralds... Okay, the emeralds are pretty valuable. And I don't have any intention of using them for their actual effect. If we were popping emeralds, it would just be for the small amount of approval. So this is enough. Right? Yeah, this gets us to Ozek. Yeah, let's do it. We'll let our hero recover more naturally. Because it sure is a good idea to have more heroes. So welcome aboard, and I think we're just going to make you governor of the capital. So Ozek already has 1 skill point invested in Impassioned Preacher, which I'm a big fan of. That's the right first skill. So immediately we're feeling that. And then Influence Boost 3, plus 3 influence per hero's level. Right now, only level 2, but obviously over time this is going to generate us a ton of extra influence. There's also a percentage modifier on there, but it's quite small. So that'll definitely help. And we can divert some significant number of these people now. Right, because we only actually need 20... We can pull all 5 of you over to something a little bit more immediately critical. Like building things. Okay, that's already making a big difference. And we'll be able to buy back our other hero soon enough anyway. Okay, it is still the case that we are pretty busy in our cities. So is there any other non-building technology that we really want? This is a different class of ship, a little bit better at fighting other ships. This would give us additional fortification in our cities. This lets us get up to 6 units per army. We don't actually get any benefit from this right now, but we will definitely want it at some point. So we may as well get it. It's going to cost us 2 extra dust per turn from the 1 army that we're running. But like I said, we will definitely want this eventually, and we definitely don't have time to, or don't have build queue space for anything else at the moment anyway. So let's just do something that doesn't require industry to get the value of. Alright. Expansion. Slowly but surely. So let's talk about the Altar of Auriga. The Altar of Auriga is a sacred building to those who live upon her. It is a center of ancient power from the times even before the Endless. By bringing her pearls here and unlocking the altar's blessings, powerful magical effects can be applied. So, we can now see the three effects that might be added to the next winter. And keep in mind, once an effect is added, it is present in all future winters. You can see that like minus 25% dust. That's always going to happen forever now. People can vote, people who have altars, can vote on which effects they want to be added by paying pearls. And the later in winter it is, the more pearls each vote costs. So sadly, we only have 6 pearls left, and it's way too late in the season for us to get in on anything. And besides that, 12 votes have already been put up toward this one. This is definitely going to win. So plus 30% dust on the market price of strategics, but minus 30% on luxuries. You know what? That's fine. That doesn't hurt us. In fact, that might actually help us a little bit. Also, now that we have our altar, we have these other technologies that we can unlock by paying pearls. You can see the ones in the inner ring cost 10 each. These ones out here are... Okay, it's not ring-based. I was not remembering correctly. These are just... it's just completely based on the tech. Oh, you know what the rings are? The rings are when they unlock. The inner ring stuff unlocks during the first winter, this stuff unlocks during the second winter, and the outer ring unlocks during the third winter. So, there are some buildings here that would be pretty useful. For example, the Iceworks lets you get extra industry out of water tiles during the winter, which is a big deal. It's a lot of industry. It would cost 15 pearls to unlock, and then it would be 10 pearls for each one of these buildings that we want to make. The chapel here allows you to get extra population from neutral villages, which is pretty cool. And then the stuff in the outer ring is actually very valuable, but it's also expensive, as you might imagine. So, we need to pick up a lot of pearls before we can really benefit from that stuff. And at this point, we can go ahead and pull people off of that focus. So let's get everybody back to other work. The influence will handle itself. Let's build some things. Yeah, I definitely want to start getting our roads up. Obviously, way more for the dust from the trade routes than from the actual road effect. But the road effect matters too. We should probably stay food focused here for now. Let's get all of these basic buildings in here. I didn't realize, man. We do need all of this stuff though. I'm going to leave it in this order. In fact, maybe I bump the sewer system down, because right now, in the position that this city's in currently, 60% is not enough to move up into the next tier of happiness, right? So this, at the moment, the sewer system doesn't actually do anything for us. We can de-emphasize that a little bit. Alright, grab the Empire plan that we want. We knew that was what we were going for. And can we buy our hero back this turn? 39? I mean, the answer is yes. We have to sell some very, very tiny amount of titanium or something. Alright, welcome back. Let's get you assigned to an army, because we're probably going to need you. While Tlato is in our territory, let's also equip some other stuff here. We did find that crossbow, that legendary crossbow in that ruin at the beginning of the game. And you can see the equip cost on that is just glass steel. And in fact, we have just enough. So let's just go ahead and put that on. That is a pretty massive stat boost, obviously. And I do love it when things don't cost any dust at all. Alright, we are slightly more ready for combat. So we got fleas. I'm just going to go over here and grab these. We also have, interesting, the roving clans have recruited some minor faction guys. This is an Erisys vine snake. Actually a pretty annoying unit for us to have to fight against. Once again, I am glad that our proximate neighbor is unable to declare war. One thing they can do, however, is that would be very annoying, is they can ban us from the market if we keep antagonizing them, because they run the market. The roving clans are the ones who operate it, so they get a percentage of the dust transaction from any transaction that anybody runs, and also they can just kick players off. They can revoke access. So at this point, it probably behooves us to start being nicer. Just a thing to think about. Let's see if these fleas come right at us. If we attacked them here... Okay, let's try to do that quickly. Because we do get the city garrison at this range. Yeah, this should be totally trivial. We'll do this manually because I don't trust the auto-resolver, is why. You know what, let's swap you... Okay. I just want to make sure that our archers are far enough back. Okay. Oh, the other ones are running away. They saw what happened. They don't want any part of this. Never mind, they changed their minds. They extremely want to be a part of this. Oh, I don't have a... Right. I don't have an action point. Well, I guess... Let's stand over here. Because again, I think the minor faction army is less likely to mess with us if we're not in their territory. Oh, are you coming over here to eat lice? No, they got close, but that's not actually what they're after. Interesting. Alright, so remember, initiating battle costs us our action point. That's why we can't declare again until next turn. That's fine. We're actually getting stuff done. We can maybe occasionally afford to buy a thing out here and there. How much are we missing for this? 46? You know what? We can make that happen. We'll just keep the price of titanium nice and cratered here. It's worth buying a little bit of time off of that, I think. Alright, and it feels like we're starting to actually play the game here. I think I've sort of gotten our feet back under us. I would love it if the lice would just come over and engage with me. Because responding, like defending in battle, does not cost an action point, of course. Alright, fine, I'll just have at you. Once again, let's just make sure that the archers stand back. If you can't tell, I've had a couple of bad outcomes from the auto-resolver. I'm not too worried about our hero getting meleeed. Yeah, he'll be just fine. His defense is high enough that the hit chance is poor. There you go. Point blank, crossbow to the face. Alright, so we've got a couple of points of contribution to that competitive, or that cooperative quest. 2 of the 4 armies of lice have been defeated. The lice could appear in a region that has at least 1 ruin. Okay, so they could show up anywhere. When the quest completes, we're going to get a nice influx of cash here. Oh, and then we do have the money to retrofit our ranger now with the bonus movement. But it's probably not worth doing because his movement speed is only 6. It would move their movement speed up to 8, but the whole army would only be able to move 6 spaces, right? Because of his movement being limited. What would it cost to give you that same thing? Alright, let's not for the moment. We have other things we might want to spend that money on. Okay, so you're getting pretty close to being done with your critical buildings. Let's get that alchemy workshop up. I would like to get another ranger out at least. And I mean, if we're talking about building more rangers, let's build them right. So, at the very least, they should probably have armor on. So, a bunch of bonus health from the helmet. 10 defense and a bunch of health from the chestplate. And the greaves are, well, I was going to say they're not a very big bonus, but they're also very cheap. Only 12 extra industry. That's worthwhile. And then the question, do we want to be crossbow and shield? How big is the bonus of upgrading the shields? The tier 2 shield has 6 defense and 5% health. It's very small. It's a very small difference. Then again, the shield is also quite cheap. And this is 18 attack and 4 damage. Okay, that matters. That totally matters. So we could do this, 62 attack with 37 defense. Or we could switch to the bow and end up with actually the same amount of attack. It's more raw damage. It's 6 extra damage. And keep in mind, that may actually end up being more than 6 damage if we're attacking intelligently. Because if we can get high attack units attacking low defense units, we can hit the top result on the table and get that 50% bonus damage. So having a higher base value is awfully nice. That said, we're finding enough things that move quickly that it's probably a good idea to keep the shields around. In addition to the raw defense on the shield, it gives us the block trait and the sharp sense trait, which makes us particularly effective against enemy archers. I think that's worthwhile. So how long would it take to get one of those out? Okay, it's only 1 extra turn for the upgrades. Probably worth it. So I guess let's just head for the ruin. Looks like Fakir must have burrowed out. He's somewhere else. Oh, there's a fungal bloom. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Like Kara. Okay, so we're going to have to dispose of this fungal bloom before we can interact with the ruin. We're going to have to burn this down. I think if these dredges run over here and attack us, which they very well might because we're in their territory, I think we're close enough that Slick's garrison will still show up to that battle. And then, you know, we have a little bit of money. Do we want to buy some more stuff out? Want to get some more places running on some things? I guess a lot of the stuff that we're building is pretty expensive. Not so easy to buy out, unfortunately. How much do I want to leave you all on dust? None is the answer to that, but we can't really afford to go negative. Here, let's focus really hard on getting the granary finished. Get some food that way. We'll just sit on the pile of dust if we're going to run negative for a second here. It also might be worth considering setting up a design for our Kazanji units here, and maybe building some of these. Kazanji are fast-moving flying units with the ability to shoot chain lightning. Obviously, seems pretty significant. But unfortunately, they are a little bit expensive on the build side. Like, if we were to equip you with, like, basically the same stuff as the Archer has, let's just create a very similar design. That's 402 industry versus 222 for the Archer. So, they're big, they're relatively tough, they're fast, they deal a lot of damage, but very, very expensive. It's alright, we'll work them into the army at some point. We also do need to just build some units for the purposes of scouting. Like, we need to get out into the world. Oh, hey! Totally spaced on our faction quest. I have not been paying attention to this. And I probably should, because your faction quest is, in fact, one of the ways that you can win the game. There's a lot to keep track of, you know, and like I said, we're sort of still working back into all of it. But boy, we sure did get our new city above 25 industry. So, tons of influence income. Anytime we build a thing, we get some influence. A new city is useful for your growing empire, and 3 new cities, even more so. Now it is time to look even further and learn even more. There are always those who bluntly refuse to accept reality. Achak and his followers are twisting their words in philosophical knots, trying to find some explanation for the things the patrols have discovered. The facts are clear. We are not alone, and we were not the first. One day their disagreements could turn violent. Truth-seeker Genoa is not the only one who warns you of this. From these other peoples you have heard other tales and new histories. Many of these myths and legends contain seeds of a similar story, a story that ends in tragedy. The farther you go and the further you study, the grimmer and more perplexing the truth becomes. In one way, Achak and Sakwa are right. Your people remain small and weak compared to the vastness of Auriga. Your empire must be secured and your armies developed. No great construction can take place unless your realm is secure. The sharing, while dangerous, gives you a great advantage when scouting. It is time to exploit that advantage. So, we must search an unspoiled ruin with a Wildwalker's hero and a minimum of 4 ranged and 2 minor faction units. Which ruin? Oh, the ruin for this quest that we were... I'm not sure how that's going to work with these two quests being laid over the same thing. I'm not sure which one we'll have to interact with first. But in either case, we do need to finish burning that down. And it turns out we need to build military units for multiple purposes. Another Urkin has emerged, so now 2 of them are out there just sort of burrowing around the world and doing all kinds of wild stuff. We still are not really in a good place to interact with them, so for the moment, we're just going to ignore that. Alright. All of these buildings getting completed. Again, our money situation getting much, much worse because of all of the building upkeep we are paying for now. Let's see. Central Market would be really nice here because this actually will push us up to a new happiness threshold in this city. Building right-of-way there. Got a lot of red units running around in my territory. What is this? Some orcs. Are we being attacked? It seems that a group of freelance entrepreneurs, pirates and brigands, wants to come clean. However, they need a justification to convince their followers that it makes sense to adopt a sedentary, low-risk lifestyle, and they are wondering if your empire might help. They would be happy to operate your resource extraction sites, which are generally far from prying eyes, if you open up enough sites for them to bring in their kith and kin. In addition, they will throw in a bit of their ill-gained booty as a thank you for giving them a second chance. I do love booty, ill-gained or otherwise. After all, there are many keys to wealth and power on Auriga, but harvesting the abundant natural resources is one of the best. Okay, so build additional strategic resources. Within 15 turns, get 2 more strategic resource extractors up. Well, good news, we actually have a ton of strategic sites that we're not yet exploiting, so we can absolutely do that. In fact, right here, we could just go ahead and... Is there another... Oh yeah, there's more glass steel here. Wow, this is a very resource-rich island. Here we can get these up as well, and we definitely should. Even beyond the quest, obviously. It's just like, it's nice to be able to sell this stuff. And some kind of event has occurred. Oh god. Dust over exploitation has unbalanced the cycle. Less dust than usual is being harvested from the terrain, so for the next 9 turns, every tile that produces dust loses 2 of that dust, and we are in dire shape. How's my gold going? Yeah, we should pop a gold booster. That seems like a good idea. Okay, that took care of most of it. That halved the upkeep that we're paying for our buildings for the next 10 turns. So, critically important. Good thing that we were building that up. We're building stuff, everybody's got stuff to build, and we've met somebody. Ah yes, the Mycera, the green. They probably have some problems with the thing that we're doing to their expansion. I don't even know how they got this over here. Well, whatever the case, it definitely needs to not happen. At some point we need to actually settle this region, and that'll help us keep the fungus at bay. Ah, here we go. Great big fungal colony ships. Look at this. Okay, well, I'm a little embarrassed that the people who are basically just mushrooms got onto the sea before I did. You know, it's fine. We'll get there eventually. For the moment, I think we are just staying the course, though. Man, it is nice to have some real, some actual influence income. When it comes time to start thinking about the next Empire plan, we're not going to have to, panic and divert everybody off of everything else. I gotta say, these neutrals are being remarkably peaceful. Oh, never mind. There it is. And they actually went to all the trouble of getting at an angle where they will not trigger the reinforcements. And we can't retreat because we're in the middle of disposing of a thing. We are encamped. Well, this could be a little bit ugly. I think we're going to be real happy here that we updated our heroes' equipment. So, as things stand right now, they're going to have to run all the way around here before they can attack us. So actually, if I put you here, yeah, you're able to attack right away. And then we just have the hero park, here-ish? I guess I can even run forward. How much movement do they have? 2. And they are slower than we are, so we can kite them a little bit. Alright, I like this. You can just shoot from where you are, from the safety of the high ground. And you... So, I want to be, like, a little bit back from them. Right, they're going to be able to move to right here. We want to be close, so that they have something to go after. But I'm not terribly worried about being able to shoot them this turn. Okay. So now, we just bait them forward. Because our archer goes first, we can step back and fire every turn, and we can keep them off of us for a little while here. This is considered adjacent to the units up on the cliff, so you can see we are losing a little bit of morale, even though we're not being directly threatened in melee. And that does affect our attack. Yeah, 93 damage. Very happy that I remembered to upgrade the equipment there. Making sure your units are not using tier 1 dust gear is like one of the best things you can do. How are we doing on our other strategics? We have the spices coming in now, but yeah, it's going to be quite a while before we're ready to use those. Alright, for the moment, just keep on keeping on, I guess. We're probably going to sit here more or less doing nothing for another couple of turns while everything completes. I don't know where these orcs are from. They are not quest-related. I mean, they're an army with a yellow banner, which means they are quest-related, but I don't know, like, I don't think it's one of our quests. I think somebody else spawned a quest army, and now it's up to them to get over here and interact with it. I'm just not even going to worry about it for the moment. So what was the arrangement of units that we needed for this? 4 ranged and 2 minor faction. So, it probably makes sense to take a second here to build the alchemy workshop, and then we need to get out 2 more rangers and 2 demons. That's a bummer. That's slow going. And I may as well just have you get out and run up to play support. The bonus movement, very helpful. That's another quest army. Oh, I know this quest now. Yeah, my guess is Red probably searched a ruin and made this quest start up. Now they just have to realize that these units are over here so that they can come and fight them. Oh, yes, and also I should be doing research. So this is valuable to finish. Obviously, we need 2 more technologies to move up to the next era. Out of curiosity, nope, nobody has started building this. So once we enter Era 3, we're going to get the ability to see the next 2 strategic resources, Adamantian and Palladian. And obviously you need a fair amount of those before you can build the Alchemic Institute, so it usually takes a little while before this one starts getting constructed. Unlike the Industrial Megapole, which is made out of Era 1 resources, so when somebody gets to Era 2, they likely already have a big stockpile. Alright, what else do we definitely know that we want before we move out of the era? I do like Glory of Empire a lot. This lets us get food out of water tiles, river and sea and lake, and obviously that would not be bad for us. I do like the Walker, but I wonder if we might be able to get by just using our demons as a melee unit. They're not ideal for that purpose, but maybe. You know what? Let's get the ability to make peace with people. It hasn't been super relevant for us right now, but when we start meeting and probably settling next to players who can declare war and who will threaten us militarily, I would like to know how to make friends. Also, we're going to have to actually devote some people to dust-related stuff in a second here. I really want to get that market finished. I guess we can maybe move some people in Amanvar over. Amanvar's got a healthy population. In fact, as an empire, we are now on a much more healthy population as a whole. Okay, we did that. We got ourselves 20 Titan Bones, which is exciting. Titan Bones are a very, very powerful luxury, although unfortunately 20 is not enough to run a booster for us. Well, that worked out better than expected. A little something in the treasury, one less threat to the good people of your empire, and more resources pouring in. Can we buy 5 Titan Bones? Is that a thing that's on the market? It is, but it would be quite expensive to do so. Has demand recovered for these crappy resources? No, not at all. Not even a little bit. I mean, that makes sense. Why would it? Demand for spices is still pretty high. Demand for gold is in the middle. Emeralds are basically worthless. We sold some and nobody's ever bought any, probably. So, just totally cratered. Alright. We're gonna need to put together the money for that booster. And also to not go broke. I think that would be a good idea. So did we finish right of way here? We did. Do we have proper roads? Did we finish right of way this turn? No, it doesn't look like we have roads running, but I was expecting there to be roads. Yeah, we have no trade route income. Interesting, because we have right of way in the capital as well, so in 2 adjacent districts. Yeah, I don't know why that's not showing up. Also, oh no, more dredges. Okay, so we did get to complete this quest, and then we will not be able to complete the other quest until we have the fancy army. So we've received an honorific title. The army will be renamed as Rescuers of the Hero. Okay, cool. Not super relevant. With your army, take the wounded hero to the marked city to recover within 20 turns. We just got to get back to Undand. Okay, that's extremely doable. Walk around the dredges, please. Okay, yeah. And you just catch up and join up as quickly as you can. I guess just move to here and they'll pick you up next turn. And a level on Tlato. This level's not so exciting, just 1 extra slot on the hero, but we're going to start getting these big army-wide stat boosts pretty soon. Alright, do we want to move people around in any of the other cities? I think we probably do have to stay industry-focused here because we gotta pump out this army. And it'll be nice to have a real army anyway. We have been skating by for far too long. Here we probably have to... I kind of want to move everybody here over to Dust as well. I just want to make sure that that market gets finished first. Okay. Good enough. We're not doing so poorly economically. Like, we're behind, but we're not that far behind. We'll try to execute this move and get us out of this region before the dredges catch up with us. Because they are going to try to catch up with us. Once in the city, you can transfer the army to the hero or keep it... I'm not sure why that fired. Was it because we moved into the region with the city? I don't know. Whatever it is, a good deed has been well rewarded. It may take some time for them to recover, but it is likely this hero will have far more value to you than the time and effort that was invested in their rescue. I mean, you say that, but I do have spores all over everything now. So we've gained Arla Sabor. Oh my! She is equipped with some very fancy gear. 188 attack, 105 defense. She has Infantry Slayer 4, 12 damage, and then 15% damage to all units in her army. She is, and she's level 6. Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's definitely a combat hero, right? So plus defense for the hero, plus a ton of life for the units in the army. Very interesting stuff. Because she is a forgotten unit, she has stealth. So she's invisible as long as every other unit in her army also has stealth. So actually, for the moment, it might be a good idea to just use her as a scout to run around the world and explore other continents. The other thing we could do with her is we could use her as a spy. She does have spying 4. We haven't even talked about the whole espionage system yet. She might be like a really good spy. But before we can spy on enemy cities, we have to know where they are. So I do think we're probably going to end up just committing her to world map movement. She might even take... After we use this full army that we're building, we could have her like run around and actually fight stuff as well. I'm going to go ahead and grab... So let's see, what else is here? Extra accessory slot, defense on units in your army. +2 reinforcement positions, so 2 more spaces with flags on them in a battle, allowing you to pull in more reinforcements per turn. And eventually, immunity to winter. Let's take this whole thing. This skill is amazing. Build them like that. And oh no, Auriga is alive, perhaps in ways that no one truly understands. An ancient manifestation known as a guardian has come to life, springing from the bowels of the planet itself and roaming one of the regions. If you wish to understand its origins and mysteries, and perhaps even master its creation, you must hurry to just murder the entire hell out of it. So the region of Maribond has a powerful guardian. That's not one of the regions that we're familiar with, right? Nope. Okay. Yep, I have no idea. No idea where that might be. Seems like not our problem, but somewhere there's just a wild guardian running around the world. Alright, what was going to be the cost for those bones? Like 150 in total, right? Yeah. Well, so we're just going to have to wait, because I can't sell this stuff for, like, anything at all at this point. Well, if we sell 10 of these, it's going to drop the price. Actually, we're still totally able to get there. And we should definitely do this. We should run this booster as soon as possible, because, 50% extra industry. It's pretty significant. Also worth noting, we're getting pretty close to that 90% ecstatic threshold, which doubles all of the bonuses to plus 30%. If we could get like 1 or 2 more luxuries running. So the way empire-wide happiness is calculated is it takes the average of all of your cities, but each city's value is weighted by its population, so more populous cities matter more. Endegear is really holding us all down, but it is getting a sewer system installed this turn. So honestly, that might be enough right there to push us over, because every place else in the Empire is already over 90. I might even redirect this. Like, let's get that central market in as quickly as possible. Okay. Pretty happy with how things are going so far. Unfortunately, there's going to be some slowness to the construction of this army. I guess we could send this army out to sea for a little bit. We could just explore the immediate area, because there are players around here that I might like to meet. Let's come down here and get in the water and meet this player, so we can see a border right there. Start to develop an idea of how things are going in the rest of the world. And it'd be really nice for me if this army would move so that their zone of control isn't eating my movement points. Could you just... Okay, well that's kind of the opposite of what I meant. Can I just... What are the odds that I could just defeat you in combat? You are archers, but you're at half health, and... Yeah, alright, I'm just gonna kill him. I think we should be able to do that. Yep, green is annoyed on account of we set fire to a thing that technically, as a fungal body, probably their whole civilization is effectively one creature, right? So we just, like, burned down a limb. I could see why they'd be upset about that. I don't know that it matters too much how we position here. And we actually have pretty solid initiative. We are going to be faster than most non-upgraded units, and minor faction units, of course, are generally non-upgraded. Oh, that was a deed. I should actually have looked at that. I'm just dismissing stuff. Ah, pink earned the master of the markets. So the pink player is good at producing influence. It's a thing that we now know. We are leading on this. We do have a level 7 hero. Is the level 7 hero is the one we got from the quest, though. Oh, right. We should assign that hero to an army, or we should make that hero into an army, or we should assign them to governorship somewhere or something, because they could be earning experience. Oh, that's right. We have to restore them first. They're wounded. Well, then let's continue accumulating dust for that purpose. And none of our people are on influence anymore, right? Yeah. Well, great news. It turns out we're just going to be above the influence threshold now without ever having to devote another person to that ever again. Okay, and we did manage to push up to fervent approval in the Empire. This is active for another 4 turns, and by the time it runs out, we will have accumulated enough gold to just immediately fire it again. Honestly, things are looking up in a lot of ways. I feel like we're doing pretty well here. Let's get some more science going, and then we should probably start expanding some of these cities. More boroughs and stuff. You still need other basics. Go ahead and build those things. Since this is no longer super critical, I mean, I still actually want this city to get up above 90% approval. So we'll leave all the workers on industry for now, and we'll boot them back over to food once that market's finished. Actually, can we get in the water over here? This is all cliff. How does one access the sea? Okay, there's lowland over there, and all the way down here. Coming down here to explore might be a good idea, because we do want to see the rest of the land that region is made up of. Like, we should be thinking about continuing to expand, right? I wanted to take a second, after sort of choking red out of all the land here, to sort of strengthen our position. And we've done that, and now I'm feeling much more confident. And now maybe we can go back to expanding. Okay, so you can see we are getting we're spending partial points of movement, so these tiles do have roads on them, I think. Yeah, you can see this tile has a movement cost of 0.5. It's just, it hasn't actually drawn the road in so much. Oh, you know what? I wonder if the problem is that there's no, yeah, see, because there's a road running from Amenvar north. I think the problem might be that there is no land path from Amenvar to the capital that goes entirely through our own territory because of Amenvar being up on this weird cliff. So if we built a district out down here, I bet that would solve it. If we just built down... I guess we would just build down this way. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. It's going to screw up happiness in Amenvar a little bit, but we'll get over it. And I think it will connect us. We'll be able to get a trade route going. We'll get some internal trade resources, which is to say money, which is a thing we definitely could use. I don't remember. Did we have a quest from this minor faction? Did they ask us to do something for them? There's a Kapaku army in the Rixal region. An emperor is used to hearing requests for help, but this is a new one. Some sort of fire-wielding constructs appear to be ravaging the countryside, and your surprised and somewhat scorched populace is demanding that you get rid of them. More than merely your own people, a small village of Boss have been particularly hard hit by this incursion. A few questions in the right places tell you that these Kapaku golems are indeed masters of fire and lava. It's about time to get them away from crops, wooden buildings, and barns full of hay. Okay, so This region, Weaksel, is this a region? Oh, okay. It's this region. It's just that the title of it is down here. Okay, so we spawned the golems, and now we are to fight them immediately. Well, we're not going to be able to get up north anyway. Like, yeah, they're blocking us in. I guess let's just try it. We might be able to take them. Oh, wow. 21 attack. And they have the Infantry Slayer trait, but remember, infantry in Endless Legend terms does not necessarily mean just, like, any unit that is a person on foot. It's units that are specifically of the class Infantry, which none of ours are. All of ours are the ranged class. So I think our hero's just going to stand here and take a beating. With these guys only having 21 attack, even though they're going to have bonus morale from standing together, they're still going to have a hard time piercing defense, I think. Now remember, one of our units is still in full Tier 1 iron gear, so we're not all very good at fighting, unfortunately. Yeah, you can really see the difference in damage output. Alright, hooray for bottlenecks. Okay, friends. So, a compelling reason to come down here and settle. Also, did they give us anything else? They gave us 20 blood crystal, which is an okay luxury. To be perfectly honest with you, I think we're likely to just sell that. Also, here it is. Red has banned us from the market. If you're wondering why it took them so long to do this, it does have an influence cost, so presumably they just had to like build up some resources before they could afford to do it. So I guess that we will not, in fact, be selling our blood crystal. We can go to them and beg them to let us back into the market. Please will you unban us? It costs us 54 influence to even ask. And then you can see this is how they feel about that. They do not want peace. We could trade them some resources. They would actually, the blood crystal would get us a lot of the way towards success on that one. So we could do this. There's also this market ban nullification term that will just unilaterally remove the market ban. But this has a pretty high influence cost, and it will go down over time, so the longer we're banned, the easier it is for us to just demand to be let back in. It sure would be nice to be like actually friendly with them, but they are really not into that. Again, probably on account of all of the antagonism. So for the moment, we're just going to be stuck with no access to the market, and we'll fix it eventually. Alright, do we want to push up for big percentage boosts, or do we want to get these flat boosts first? Right, my biggest concern is that right now, our base resource values might be low enough that Will of Achille might not be very compelling. But we do already have an alchemy lab up in the city, our science should be pretty solid. Let's go ahead and get a level of this. We'll come back and finish Impassioned Preacher later. Alright, that feels pretty significant. This is a unit of centaurs in boats. So land units that are in ships attack as a transport ship unit, which is very, very weak. But unfortunately, if we get into the water to attack them, we will also be in the same transport ship unit. It's difficult to fight effectively as a transport ship. I would not necessarily favor us very much there. So they are making it kind of difficult to cross the channel. Maybe they'll get out of the water, and we can try to resolve this on land. Okay, so do I want to pull the other ranger out? I guess so. If there's a chance the boss may attack us, let's reinforce here. God, look at all these pearls. That is 10 pearls in that tile right there. And then we need one more research before we move up. So, better weapons is potentially interesting, although at this point I think I might just wait until we can get weapons made out of adamantium or palladium. Glory of Empire is definitely less compelling than it was before we got the super influence hero. So maybe we just go ahead and grab one of these industry boosters. It does take a while for them to sort of pay off their cost. We can also still go back and just get something from an earlier era, like topography is not bad. We actually have a lot of tiles that give science, so maybe the Geomic Lab would be a pretty effective, especially cost-effective, building for us. You know what? I am going to do that. Also, researches from earlier eras are a little bit cheaper, I believe. Right? It's going to cost us $723 to get that. Or, yeah, it would be $892 to get something from the current era. So, yeah, I'm into that. And with that, I guess let's move on to the next turn. We're getting lots of important stuff finished all over the place. This will boost Endegear up to Fervent. It is very nice to have all of your cities be Fervent. Makes life a lot easier. Ah, and dust production returns to normal. This thing doesn't update immediately, but that number will look a lot better in a second here. There we go. Oh yes, I think we can go back to food focus. Eventually we want right-of-way here. I'm not really in a hurry to build the strategic resource extractors. I think we're doing fine on those. Alright. I think this might be an okay place to call it for the moment. We are past the hour after all. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, tomorrow, we are finally going to look beyond the shores of our tiny island and find out just exactly how much we are losing by. And we'll see you then.